And I remember being in my room and just falling on my knees and being like, God, I surrender. Hey everyone, today is Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to all of you out there. God is so good. I wanted to make this video because Easter is a very special time for me personally, because I actually fully surrendered my life to Christ on an Easter Sunday back in 2018, and today marks 7 years since I made that decision to follow Christ fully and lay down my life. So I wanted to make a video to let you guys in on a bit of my testimony around making that decision. I don't think I've shared this online before, but I hope that this just encourages you guys. Maybe a lot of you guys are here from my music, and so I just wanted to share a bit of backstory about how I even came to this place of being fully surrendered and making the music that I make and the content that I make for Jesus, and how he changed my life. So a little bit of context. Around that time, I had one foot in and one foot out. I had a relationship with God. I was raised in a Christian family, but I hadn't fully surrendered my life to Christ, and I was in a weird place where I just graduated high school and I was taking a gap year to make it in the music industry, and I had my eyes set on worldly success, fame, money. And I remember going to church on a Saturday, actually, Holy Saturday. There was a service at my church that my family and I went to, and they spoke about the resurrection. The sermon that day was actually about Jesus talking to Mary, who thought he was a gardener, and this is when Mary had gone to the tomb and the tombstone was rolled away and the tomb was empty, and she was weeping, and Jesus, who she thought was a gardener, came up to her and said, "Why are you weeping, and who do you seek?" And I remember at church they had up on the PowerPoint this illustration of Jesus and the empty tomb behind him speaking to Mary, and I remember just looking at that image and I was like, man, I believe in Jesus. I believe he is who he said he was, and that he rose from the grave. Why on earth am I not fully jumping into this? Why am I not fully laying my life down for this? And so I remember I went home and I was kind of thinking about it. Even the next day I was like in bed all day. I kind of had, one of those days where you just rot in bed. It was definitely spiritual warfare. I was like just anxious and discouraged. And anyway, that night, this is going to be hard to explain because I believe that it was supernatural. God reached out of heaven and the Holy Spirit came upon me. And I remember being in my room and just falling on my knees and being like, God, it's yours. I'm yours. Everything is yours. My music, I surrender. And I remember feeling this overwhelming presence of peace come over me.